next to go. I checked the line. He was next to go.
Bondzee live. Bondzee on YouTube.
Look the fuck out today. My crayons are short, the box is full, my bottle of glue's topped off, and my helmet's on tight, baby. We about to rism with the tism. Let's get with it.
Thing that guys do that girls will never understand. Something that guys do that girls will never understand.
Nothing is better than the chocolate-covered hot dogs. Well, Scooby-Doo. Roll.
Chocolate-covered hot dog. That's an eclair, you stupid twit. Well, how are you? Happy Good Friday. Can you say Happy Good Friday? I'm not sure. I hope you had your fish and no red meat. I had steak today. It's not gonna. I shouldn't say this because Sarge, she gets so upset if she finds out you had red meat on Good Friday. So you're supposed to have fish. So I hope y'all did out there. I know my buddy's place, Hutch's Fish and Chips. Big shout out to them. They kill it every Good Friday. They kill it every weekend. Actually, they love that place. So shout out to them. Of course, Billy's always watching. So thank you very much. Jack's tuning in from BC. Thank you so much. My girl, Mafia Ashley. I can still call you that now again, and I'm the only one who's allowed to know why. Love it. Listen, thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. We're episode 284. Yes, it's a Friday night. This is a special one. 4 years ago, this time, 2020, March 29th, yours truly was live, absolutely shit-faced in my parents' basement because I was fresh home from Nicaragua in quarantine, and I was bored. I was absolutely bored. I went from, and there I am. There's the casted characters. That was 4 years ago. Yeah, I mean, we'll get into it. Sadly, I don't have those casted characters with me tonight. I'm at a buddy's for a night, and I didn't get to go and get all those things together. So I apologize. I wanted to do a whole skit with some of them and bring them back, but maybe we'll do that down the road. But anyways, can you believe it's been 4 years? Pretty wild. We're just going to look back today. Well, I got some great, all the old pictures. We're going to run through all the guests I had, producers, just some great memories of the show from years past for sure. Yes, that's bullshit, Wade. A lot has changed. 4 years. Bondzee is now 75 days sober. No alcohol doing the show tonight. So that is definitely a change, I would say. I'm way lighter. That's another change. So there's that as well. Anyways, Jack says busy on call shift. I'll watch it later. Okay, bro, you take care out in BC. Thank you so much. Yeah, basically we're just going to reminisce and have a look back. And I just want to, before we get into all the shenanigans of the 4 years past and how much has changed, actually when I started the hair show, Wade, I had a lot of hair too. How could we all forget the skullet? I mean, come on, we're going to get into the skullet. Maybe I can give you a sneak peek of that beauty. Where is it? It's somewhere in this. We'll get to it because it's in here. I know it is. I just can't see it because who can forget the skullet? And I have to give a massive shout out to James DeFiore. I think that's how you say his last name. My old co-host from the Dean Blundell Network. We'll talk about being on the Dean Blundell Network as well. We're going to get into it all, how it started and where we are now and everything in between. So, yes, welcome to Tripping with Bondzee, 4 years in, episode 284. We got next Wednesday coming up. We got a great band out of Edmonton. Wait, I never asked you if you know these guys. Maybe you do, maybe you don't, but they're an awesome band. I've heard their music. They're in the rotation now. They're called Royal Tusk. They're going to join me next week. Really looking forward to speaking to those guys. We'll get the sponsorship out of the way here because my brother's cool. He did this for me. He pays the bills. The Coop and Waterdown, folks, if you're in Ontario, anywhere around Burlington, Oakville, Toronto, come on up to the Coop and Waterdown. The place is great. Absolutely fantastic food. It'll blow your mind. The chicken wings, the chicken sandwiches to die for. And so are the beef burgers, believe it or not. And take your girl there or your guy. Maybe go on the Sunday boozy brunch. $20 gets you a bottle of champagne. some OJ, and smash back some wings, and then, go home, watch some football, watch a movie, and maybe get it on. Who knows? But just go to the Coop, Waterdown, there. That's the sponsors done. Let's get into it. Oh, before I do, please, again, one more, shameless plug for my boys, the Feral Minx. You can see, I know some people had a problem with the other link, www.bigticketsmall something or other, small town. That's what it was, Big Ticket Small Town. This one's way easier. All you got to do is go to www.feralminx.com, and both of them, there's two that you can vote for my boys for. Please, it takes 2 seconds to go to their website, click on vote for them both, and let's get these boys open for the Glorious Sons at that huge show in Tweed this summer, and also at the Tall Pines Festival, I believe, which is in like the Barrie area, my old stomping grounds. Right on. Okay. Oh yeah, and the Dakota Tavern, Feral Minx, this coming Friday, and then at the Bracebridge Hall with Lake Porter. I think I might have screwed that up on Tuesday show. Because Wednesday was in, I saw Skydiggers and Paul Langlois band. We'll get to that in a minute. But make sure you go check out the Feral Minx if you're anywhere near Bracebridge or Toronto next weekend. Really looking forward to seeing the boys and hanging out with them for sure. All right. I'm filming a movie this weekend. Really excited about that. It's called Sins Forgotten. I play the role of a dad. I think that's all I could say. Really looking forward to being on set again. And then next week, Thursday night, I'm doing a night show. I hate filming at night, staying awake all night. It sucks. But I'm really looking forward to being on the show, Motorheads. All right, that's all I got for that. The Kickstarter account, I mentioned it on Tuesday's show. I was going to launch it today. Listen, it's been a crazy, crazy busy week for when I went to Peterborough, came back. I've been working. I've been trying to get this show up together and just everything. It's been too much. So we are going to save that launch. And the biggest reason, it's Easter weekend. People are busy with their families and stuff. It's just not a good weekend to go launch in a Kickstarter campaign. So I decided to hold that off. And speaking of holding off, if you were doing the voice acting classes, that's going to be 2 Tuesdays from now, not this next Tuesday, because I just got too much going on and I want to make sure everything's copacetic. All right, let's get into it. 4 years. Can you believe it, man? Like, honestly, it's let's get right into it. What started in my parents' basement, because I'd been living in Nicaragua for 2 years at this point. I think I'd come home briefly at Christmas one time, and then one other time, I think in the summer for something real quick for 2 weeks. But other than that, I basically was living in Nicaragua. I had sold the bar at this point and was I was running a friend's bar who was back home living in Vancouver, and I was running his bar 14 hours a day, packed day and night. And I remember I was having the best time. And it was living in paradise. I was entertaining people day and night, and I absolutely loved it. And then all of a sudden, that dreaded COVID-19 hit. I remember St. Paddy's Day was our last night open at the bar. Legally. I think we stayed open for a few nights after that, by special invite only, or if you knew the secret knock to get in on the door. But then I think 5-6 days later, I was on a plane because Sarge was freaking out. Listen, the government, the world, the media put the fear of God in everybody. And I ended up having to go home. And I couldn't go back home to the house that I owned because it was rented out. And so I had to go quarantine in my parents' basement for 14 days. And Day 3, day 4, I was just drinking more and more wine, smoking more weed. I was just completely bored out of my tree, I went from like entertaining people for 14 hours a day. You have to understand it. I'm that guy. I don't do well alone. And all of a sudden, I'm sitting there in my parents' basement. I wasn't allowed to go upstairs. I wasn't allowed to see or talk to them. I couldn't go out. Like, it was just crazy. And so I think it was night 5. I just had enough, and I got absolutely buckled. I think it was 2 bottles of red wine finished before I even decided to go live on Facebook. And so what I did was I gathered my little cast and crew here, and the Stewie thing was my head cover for my driver out of my golf bag. The guy in the back with no eyes there, that was my parents are huge on Halloween. So they had all these things kicking around. You can see the skull thing there. There's a pirate head with an eye patch. I don't know where the hell that Sinead O'Connor hairdressing thing head came from, but I know somebody stole the No Eyes guy in the background there off my parents' front lawn at a Halloween display a few years ago, so he's gone. Keith Keller, thank you so much for tuning in from BC, my guy. Really nice to see you. Happy Good Friday, or again, I don't know if you can say that. Good Friday to you. Let's say that, and happy Easter weekend. All right. Jeff Peters, wasn't there weird dolls? Yeah. Like, so there's not so much a doll, like just that the doll head you can see there. There's the horse I had, which I aptly named Four Paws. There's that little teddy bear. He made an appearance too. And I think that's it for the cast of characters. Anyways, I went through, I gave them all voices, and I did put together about, I think it's about a 13-minute package here of just the craziness that ensued. Why don't we start it off? I put the whole night was about 39 minutes long. I chopped it down to about 13 minutes. I won't play it all in a row, or probably all of it, but we'll play a little bit of it now. We'll see how it starts off, and we'll just have some good old laughs and go, holy shit, that's how it started. Oh, it says video has unsupported format. Well, that's weird because I just downloaded it from my computer. Let's try again. Add source, local video. It's not down. It won't. Oh, well, maybe we're not. Let me see if I can do this on the fly. I'll try. Oh, so it says it's the other part is it's still downloading. So why don't we we'll go through some other stuff. Like I said, I'm on the road, and I went to download it here on the road, and it wasn't downloading as quick, but it did say in the side column that it was downloaded, but it's not. So why don't we start off with I got this one that I can show because I'm pretty proud of this. This was do I start off with the best ever interview, or should I save it? Why don't we start? What do I got here? Well, let's start with this one. I'm pretty proud of this. This is about a year into doing the podcast. I got picked up by the Dean Blundell Network, and here is Dean introducing me for the first time. This is a highlight for sure. Check this out.
Morning show at Hamilton, the biggest, the best. That's what it is. Darren Pfeiffer from the band Goldfinger and the Dangerous Darren podcast. And ladies and gentlemen, Bondzee.
Bondzee, the one and only.
Bondzee.
There's only one. There's only one of me. Seriously.
That's right. There is only one. And it was an absolute pleasure to be on Dean's network for, I believe it was a year and a half, and I traveled all over the States. We certainly had some great memories for sure. And including this one. This is the boys talking about me. And, I think they were, what happened to it? I just had it up. There it is. Be right back. And here it is. Let's have a listen to the voice.
He's doing it, right? Like, how many of us, if we could, would say, you love your wife, James not so much, Darren, jury's out, but how many of us would go, yeah, I'm in. I'm getting in a bus and I'm fucking leaving. All of us would. He's doing it.
I've actually done something similar. In 2009, on like 4 hours notice, I moved to Los Angeles.
Did you really?
That doesn't surprise me. Yeah, I did. And then I moved to South Beach, and I ended up living in this like 5-star hotel for like 2 months. I just sort of flew under the radar. And
anyways, enough about James. You get the point. It was a highlight for sure of tripping with Bondzee. I'm sitting here in my parents' basement. I'm doing this show, and I was 3 sheets to the wind by the end of it after 39 minutes. And there was one point, I think I mentioned this, but for those who don't know, my dad came down at one point with his mask on and peeked his head around the corner. Because his man cave is right above, and he was watching his shows or whatever, and he could hear, and I was swearing so much, and I was like, F this, boom, boom, boom. And he finally came down. He's like, well, you shut the hell up. I'm sick and tired of listening to you, F this, F that. I was like, and then he turns around and marches back up the stairs because he's old and crotchety, and he didn't want to catch COVID, obviously, because back then it was like, oh, if you're around anybody, especially old people, they're going to die, right? So he ran back upstairs, and I remember calling him a Nazi, and I was like, oh, and I was so wasted, and I felt so bad. Manager Jason, thank you so much for tuning in. Boy, oh boy, Mr. Manager Jason, it's always a treat when he tunes in. He's instrumental of this show, and especially me going on the road as well. I love the guy to pieces, and I'm not sure if he watched the last show, but I already pumped his tires enough so he could go back and watch that and listen to all the nice things I said about him. All right. So then after the first show, and I'm mouthy, it's coming here. I can see it downloading. It's almost done. But I was like, holy shit. I woke up the next morning. I was like, my Facebook was blowing up. There were so many comments. They were like, dude, you were so funny. Holy shit. Thank you so much. We needed that. We were so entertained. And it was like, it had like 600-700 views already. And I was like, holy shit, what did I do? And it was more like, well, what did you guys do? Because you created this, because you watched the hooliganism of that. And all I needed was an audience. So it was just like, all right, let's go full bore. And it was on. I went 3 nights a week for, quite a while, because we had nothing else to do. Everybody was at home in lockdown and stuff, right? So it was hilarious. Melissa says, the first show to now, so much has changed for you. I know, right? Thank you so much, Melissa. And then you got other bozos like Wade who said, oh, nothing's changed. I'm pretty sure he was being facetious, obviously. Keith Keller, he says, yo, congratulations. Thank you so much, buddy. I really appreciate it. Stone, he's been here from the get-go too. I really appreciate you always tuning in. That's my boy from Edmonton. I got to meet him in Edmonton, and I also got to meet Stone here in Ontario as well. Him and his lovely wife, they were here for their kids' lacrosse, which was really cool. It's always nice to meet people who, I met a lot of people from sort of the Edmonton area, BC area, because of the show and because of being on Dean Show, quite frankly. That got me a lot of attention. So we'll sort of work my way into that. But it started in that basement 3 nights a week, just entertaining people. And then I decided to tone it down, obviously, and you can't do it on 2 bottles of wine every single night. But I certainly did give it a good go. Most nights I certainly couldn't do it sober. I remember taking shots of whiskey before the start of the show if I wasn't really like drinking just to calm the nerves, smoke some weed. And and I remember it started on my phone. Honestly, on my cell phone, on the camera, on Facebook Live. And then I remember going, I did my quarantine, and you could go to Best Buy and order something, and they would bring it out to you. And I went and ordered a fancy microphone, and then I started doing it on the computer, and then I got a light, and one thing led to another, and then I got the other computer, so I would have notes instead of handwritten pen notes that you couldn't see all around. I used to have pieces of paper taped up all around the camera that you guys couldn't see. So, okay, I'm going to talk about this. All right, I'm going to talk about that. All right, that. And then it just kept going and going and going. And it entertained people. And then I think one of my first guests ever was Jeremy Taggart from Our Lady Peace. And I will forever be, I got a picture here of Jeremy somewhere. And it's funny, the first time I ever interviewed Jeremy wasn't even part of Bondzee Live and what I had started on, which was Facebook originally and then YouTube. I had to interview him on Instagram Live for whatever reason. I can't remember, but the first time I ever interviewed Jeremy, which for those who don't know me, I was a massive Our Lady Peace fan, and especially Jeremy Taggart fan. I've actually become friends with Jeremy over the years. I'm not sure if I can't see you. Oh, that's Rick Campanelli. Jeremy's here somewhere. I think, nope, that's Alan Cross. That's James P. White. We'll get to all these. Anyways, maybe we'll just go through them later. And if I run, when I run into it, but I remember, Jeremy Taggart being one of my very first interviews, and he was super, super cool. And then the show progressed. I ended up moving back home, to my house. I kicked out that that girl that was living in my house, rent-free for quite a while, quite frankly. And then I got to interview another great one was right off the bat was Theo Fleury. That was a huge get for me, getting Theo Fleury. Probably at the time, besides Jeremy Taggart, easily the biggest get. And so many other ones. Chris Kontos, amazing NHL player. Theo Fleury twice, like I said. We also had a porn star on here. We had 2. Well, we had a stripper and we had a porn star. We had the Seaman Jewelry lady. Who could forget the Seaman Jewelry lady? You know what? Why don't I go through? I got so many great pictures here. We'll sort of go through them one by one here. There's Chris Koster from the Glorious Sons, which for me was a huge get as well, formerly of the Glorious Sons. There's my boy Trevor Hurst from Econoline Crush. That was a fantastic interview. Very heartfelt, very down, deep, and honestly, Rick Campanelli, that guy was super, super fun, wasn't he? And I just showed this guy as well, Alan Cross, one of the biggest music gurus of all time, if not the biggest. And then, of course, my biggest get, for those of you who know me, Paul Langlois from the Tragically Hip was out of this world to get to interview Paul. And just easily one of the most special times of my life. He gave me 47 minutes of his time, and I did have it loaded in the system here, and I deleted it. I hit the wrong button when I was trying to play the other thing. Let's see if I can get it back here real quick, because I got this really funny clip with me and Paul that manager Jason had sent over. And man, I downloaded so many things today. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to find it on the fly. Maybe not. Sadly, nope, that's not it. All right. Never mind. Anyways, it was such a treat to get to Paul Langlois. Also, who else did we have on here? We had Peter, of course, from the Glorious Sons. He's also in his two own bands, Darling Congress and Teenage Kicks. Pete was such a great guy and so open and honest when he came on this show. He was new to the Glorious Sons. And listen, I asked him some pretty tough questions about, where he stands with the band. How does it feel to be the new guy? Well, and he was so cool and down to earth and answered them all. And I really did enjoy getting to talk to Pete. Who else did I get to talk to? Of course, Tony Rabelo from Bedouin Sound Clash. And he was a real treat. I love that guy. Great drummer. James P. White. This guy has done it all. He's been a midget stripper, and you're allowed to call him a midget. He doesn't like being called a little person. He's a DJ on Cruise FM. He's now the morning guy because Lachlan Cross just got fired. But James is he's a professional wrestler. Boy, he's pretty much done it all. It was a treat to get to interview him and talk Star Wars and everything. Of course, Jason Pierce from Our Lady Peace. He took over for Jeremy Taggart. There's our stripper, Pixie. She was on the show thanks to old producer Glassy. Do we all remember Glassy? Veronica Bates, thank you so much for tuning in. We got my boy JJ is watching in Brantford. Thanks for tuning in, buddy. We also got easily the world's best, at the time, world's best curler and Canada's best curler, Glenn Howard. That guy's a real treat. Friend of mine, and used to get to golf with him every Thursday. Leroy from the North. This guy, if you guys haven't checked him out, go check out his music and his band, Leroy from the North, and his name's Leroy. They're from California. They opened for Our Lady Peace. Gosh, I was back there. It was in December, right before I flew home to go and stay at Lachlan Cross's house in Edmonton. After my journey was done after a year in the States, and I dropped the bus off in Phoenix, I went and stayed with my son, Ty, in California, and we got to go see Leroy from the North and Our Lady Peace that night. Who else do we have on the show? Of course, I showed Glenn Howard. Who could forget my boy? Oh, there we go. Reggie. Remember this guy? The cop from California who shot and killed two dudes, shot and injured a third guy. His sister was also murdered. And that guy, remember, he wanted to murder me because I felt so, well, I didn't even really feel bad, honestly. Yeah, I guess I kind of did, because you're not really supposed to badmouth your friends' wives. And Reggie really did become a good friend of mine until the end, when I did upset him by... Listen, I was only telling the truth. And we're not going to get into it again. I'm sure she's changed, and she is a lovely, wonderful person now. But at the time, Reggie's wife was not a very nice person to me. And anyways, I do feel really awful that I lost my friendship with Reggie, because that guy had some great stories. And yeah, he was a pisser for sure. What else we got here? Of course, Theo Fleury, there was the second time he was waiting for his car to get fixed, and it was in a snowstorm or something in Calgary, or not too far from there. There's Jeremy Taggart. That was the second time he was on the show, but the first time on the actual YouTube Tripping with Bondzee channel. And who could forget when I went from, of course, I think I showed you earlier. I went from this, which was an absolute. So I always wore a hat. And one time Dean made me take it off and said, Bondzee, turn sideways. I got to see what this looks like without the hat. And then, of course, I went and shaved my head. That's me there, California. There's my buddy. He shaved my, and I think it was, looking back, the best decision I ever made, because I look way better bald than I did with that skullet for sure. Let's have one more look at that. She was a beaut, wasn't she? I do miss having the long flow at the back, but Jesus Christ, it was really bad up front. I mean, you could have rented out that thing for like 3 billboards, okay? What else about the show? There's my old home studio. Man, oh man, I actually really do miss that studio a lot. Who could forget the time I had Marianne from Brooklyn on the show? Wonderful human being. She was from the Howard Stern show. She's still a regular guest on there all the time. She came on and was such a wonderful human being. That was during COVID. And Marianne actually sent me a thank you gift, which is usually supposed to go the other way around. I think my tea's almost done. I'm supposed to send her a gift. Anyway, she sent me a lovely card and thanked me for having her on. And she was a real treat too. I had somebody else on from the Howard Stern show. I'm trying to think. Was Marianne from Brooklyn? No, it'll come to me. Anyways, I think I wrote it down in the notes too somewhere. But man, with so many great things. And you know what? The video just finished downloading. So I got to show you how this all started. Because I mean, this is well, without further
25th, the government said anybody that came home was on lockdown, quarantine, do not leave your fucking house or whatever. Sorry, Mom, if you're listening or if you listen. But this is very close to my heart, and I want people to know I didn't fuck up. I didn't do anything wrong. Hey, everybody. All right, well, let's do this. I'm not quite sure what I got myself into. I tried to hook up with a buddy who's doing a live radio show right now for the music and everything and a big intro, but I couldn't make it work. I'm not computer savvy. I'm just here to make y'all laugh, and if you can hear, I am playing the hip in the background. What other way would I start a show? My first live show I've ever really done. So, quick story.
That's sort of how it all began. And what sucks is I downloaded, I have 2 versions. So that's the full version. And then I had the clip version, and it looks like the program. You know what? There is another version right here. I've got all the downloads. Sorry, I'm doing this on the fly, so I apologize. I should have had it all done, but there's the shorter version right there, I think. We'll see if this works instead. No, it won't work. So we're going to stick with that one anyway. But I remember everybody one of my biggest guests, the sex guru, Ali Mars from Calgary. My ratings were huge. Every time I would have Ali on the show, she was beautiful. She was open and honest. She would talk about anything and everything. Of course, Seaman Jewelry Lady, that was a real treat as well. I think I have. Manager Jason sent me this. I think I could play this video too. I'm going to jump to another video real quick, but I don't have it. I thought it downloaded, but it doesn't look like it did. But Manager Jason did send me this one. Who could forget the time old Bondzarelli? It's not popping up. Oh, you know why? Because, there it is. Watch this. The time I got stung by a bee.
Whoa, you won't travel down the street. Maui. Why was all dream?
Manager Jason sent me that and said that was one of his favorites. I know it wasn't exactly tied in with the show, but I think I did the show a couple of days, and it wasn't nowhere near as that. But we talked about that, and that was one of the highlights for him for sure. Excuse me. What else? Some ayahuasca shaman. I remember him coming on. We told some great stories about me doing ayahuasca, and he was saying, just the whole thing and the amount of times I barfed. And because the second time I went, you're not supposed to go and do that stuff. drinking and stuff. And listen, it's no secret I had a drinking problem. And especially back then, that was when I owned the bar. And listen, I was working long days and we didn't do the ayahuasca ceremony till like 8 or 9 at night. And I'd probably had about, 7 or 8 double rums throughout the day. And by the time I got to the ceremony, I was feeling pretty fine. And I did that ayahuasca. Mother ayahuasca was pissed at me. Shelly, thank you so much for tuning in from Arizona. Another absolutely stunning memories of doing the show live from Arizona. I believe it was American Thanksgiving. Holy mackerel. That was one of the greatest weekends of my entire life. I've never been back there since. Shelly always makes fun of me and says, and her brother, Sean, they always say that they ruined me and I'll never come back to Arizona. But I will, I promise, because I absolutely love Arizona. It's easily one of my favorite states of all that. The whole time in the year spent to travel in the States on my bus was, man, Arizona was surely a special time, and doing the shows there was awesome as well. Tina White, thanks for tuning in. Vaughn, my buddy Vaughn from out in the Alberta region, thank you for tuning in as well, bud. I really appreciate it. Brent Hatley was the other one from the Howard Stern Show, which was a huge get as well. Brent abruptly sort of left the Howard Stern Show, and he was kind enough to come on my show, and we had a great chat with him. And his wife was huge into the OnlyFans and stuff, and they were huge swingers. And he was super open and honest on this show for sure. Lisa Holgate, thank you so much for tuning in. Fleury the Crackpot Stone said, listen, Fleury is what he is. Well, you know what? I don't care about any of his politics stuff, because that's one thing I've prided myself on this show too, looking back over the 4 years. Never talked COVID, never talked politics, and we don't talk religion on the show. And we have pretty much stuck to it like 99%, pretty much for sure. I love Theo Fleury as a hockey player. I love Theo Fleury as an individual for being able to get rid of his demons. I'm not sure if he ever get rid of them, but conquer them for sure. He did. Alcoholism, drug addiction, wicked PTSD from all the shit that he went through. We don't have to go through it all again, but definitely was a treat to have Theo Fleury on my show. Love him or hate him, it doesn't matter. He was an amazing hockey player for sure, and a hero, quite frankly, for all the great words and things he's done to fight assholes who abuse kids and stuff. So you can't fault the guy for that, can you? Nope. Phil Demers, Walrus Whisperer. Who could forget that guy when he came on the show? And he has single-handedly been individually responsible for taking down that shithole that is Marineland. So I'm big round of applause, couple clicks for sure for my boy Phil Demers. And I believe that this will be the first spring-summer year that dump of Marineland will not be open on Ontario. So again, huge shout out to Phil. And that guy doesn't stop. He's trying to get, his work is amazing. He's trying to get all the orcas and dolphins and other captive animals in these goddamn aquariums back out into the sea, or at least into better enclosures or whatever, where they can be properly taken care of. That guy was been on the Joe Rogan show, and he came on tripping with Bondzee. So that was a pretty great guest to get as well. Magician Alex Kazam's been on America's Got Talent. He's performed for some great individuals down in the States, including David Blaine and some others as well. I think Trump too, he briefly performed for. So yeah, clicks for Alex. That guy's great. Great friend of mine still to this day. 4-time Olympian Mercedes Nichol was on this show. Love Mercedes. She was awesome. She was part of the Dean Blundell network with me, and she came on here, I believe, a couple times. I got to chit chat with Mercedes, and it's not too often you get a 4-time Olympian on the show. So that was pretty cool. We talked about Reggie the cop. Izzy Camilleri, fashion guru and expert who made all those amazing costumes for Gord Downie for his last ever tour. All the shiny ones with the shiny leather outfits and stuff, which is pretty cool. What else? Both my boys, Ty and Brad, have both been on the show. It's super awesome. I'm so proud of those guys, both doing their thing with music. Brad with his magic as well. He was on that show, The Thrillillusionist, back in the day. CBC, go check him out. My mom, Sarge, has been on the show twice for sure. I can't believe there might have been a third appearance real briefly or something, but that's not bad for my mom, who vowed she would never come on the show because it was stupid. I swear too much, and I'm a disgrace. Not that I'm a disgrace, but I say disgraceful things sometimes on the show. And listen, she's not wrong. Sometimes I can't even control what comes out of my mouth. I don't write it. I don't write everything. I have notes of what I'm going to talk about, but other than that, I can't control what comes out of this mouth during this show. Brad Waters was on this show. Great guy. He was a great chat. Son of Bill Waters, former longtime GM of the Toronto Maple Leafs. We had a ton of veterans on here as well. Bryce Hopper, Army Chris, another guy from the Dean Blundell Network, and a good friend of mine. Shout out to Army Chris, who, small world, so happened to be in Afghanistan and in the same platoon as my boy Pat Molden. Rest in peace, Patty boy. Huge clicks for Pat. Yeah, they were on the show together too. I actually got to do an amazing podcast talking with Chris and Pat simultaneously. That's one I'll never forget. Of course, veteran Dave Blastman was on as well not too long ago. I believe at the start of 2024, or maybe it was the end of 23. But anyways, clicks for all the veterans that were on this show, and God bless them all for sure for their service. Hundo P. Wade says Sarge and Kenny are the nicest people he's ever had. Dude, I cannot argue with you there. My parents, they got the biggest hearts in the world. How they ended up having 3 hooligan maniac sons, I'll never know. At least they got one of the 3 right. Right, Mom? Yeah, and I know she'd never say it out loud, but I know I am her favorite. I think she secretly told Wade. Wade knows. But Wade will argue and say that he's the favorite now that he met Sarge, and he thinks he's one of her sons, which is pretty funny. But no, Sarge did love you like a son, bud, and I'm so glad you got to meet my folks. It was a pleasure having you. Okay, who else? We had a bunch of actresses on this show as well. Kelly Fanson, dear friend of mine, and a wonderful comedian, writer, director, actress. She's from Toronto, and she's been on, I believe, 3 times as well over the 4 years. Tony Napa, who could forget that guy? Legendary actor. He was in those crazy movies with the one where he bit Buddy's face and stuff. There was, what the hell is it called now? The Faking a Murder, from Stu Stone and Adam Rodness, who were also on the show. Actors, directors, producers. They also own their own movie studio in Toronto and California, which is pretty cool. We also had Dylan Matina on here, California actor, U.S. guy, and it was a pleasure to have him on the show. We also had another actress, Carrie Beal, was on the show as well. Excuse me. Jesse Camacho was on the show as well. Big old Jesse. He was in the show Vandits, which was another great movie by Stu Stone and Adam Rodness. Absolutely love that. I did mention we had Taggart, Jason Pierce from Our Lady Peace. I think I pretty much. Oh, Sammy Kahn from The Watchmen. Absolutely love that band. I had a great chat with Sammy when he was on. The Pharaoh Minx, my favorite band right now, besides the Glorious Sons, obviously. Bands that are still going. Oh, I love those guys. Greg Ball, who I just saw the other night playing for the Paul Langlois band. Greg's been on the show, I think, 2 or 3 times. He is one funny bugger. You got to go check him out. He's in the Campfire Liars Club as well with Paul. And then, of course, Paul's band. Small Town Strip Club. Easy for me to say. Kojak. Cazador, great band out of Kingston. His dad, one of the guys in the band, his dad is, of course, Rob Baker from the Tragically Hip. We had Beer Store Money, great band from the Windsor area. The Wilderness, another great band from Kingston. Luscious from Kingston. Short Walk to Pluto. Man, those guys are taking off. They were on the show not too long ago. Great band from Toronto. We had Jamie Petrie's been on, another great musician. We just saw him play last night live at Pub Fiction. He was on fire. He sounded so good last night. Andy Cogliano from Revive the Rose. Love that guy. Super, super talented. Black Paint was just on recently. Kyle Walkup, another great musician. His first time on here, he was devastated. He like totally froze, and this is all out of his mouth. He was like, I need to come back on and redeem myself. And Kyle did come back on. He redeemed himself, and we had an awesome time with Kyle. And I mentioned Tony Rablo from Bedouin Sound Clash. Who else am I missing? Of course, all the Dean Blundell cast. Dean, I had an amazing interview with Dean Blundell on my 100th episode. That was really, really cool. Lachlan Cross been on the show numerous times. Ryan Lindley, of course. James DeFiore. Who else? I think that's it. Trusty Truster, of course. My guy, he's been on here for so many different reasons. Producer. Yeah, let's name all the producers, actually. So there was Wade, of course, has been on here as a producer, as a photographer, as a friend. Love you, Wade. Trusty Truster's been on here as a producer. Of course, we had producer Glassy for quite a long time. And then right off the beginning, we at the first one was Savage, my buddy Phil Savage's kid. He was a producer here for a while. So thanks to everybody. And my son's, at least Brad did. He was a producer on here for a while. So everybody that helped run the show in the background over the 4 years, I really appreciate it. And yeah, we had a bunch of friends on here too, including CEOs of different companies. Zeg Sauces, of course, Kevin Anstey was on here. We had marathon runners on here. We've had bar owners. We have had firefighters on here, contrary to some of the girls' beliefs on here. But I have had firefighters on here as well. It's been great. I have so many different guests. Super thankful to them all. So many great memories for sure. It's amazing. We've done the show. I've done the show all over Ontario, Nicaragua, Florida, Buffalo, Colorado, Texas, New Mexico, Nevada, California, Tennessee, Arkansas, and Arizona. I don't think I've missed anywhere. If I did, I'm sorry. We've done it from bars, hotels, boats, houses, condos, you name it. I think the only place I haven't done it from is an airplane out of all, and a train. I haven't. We've done it from Graceland. I did a show right next door to Graceland on the campground there. That was super, super special. Man, oh man, I could the vibes, the positive vibes, and like just the hauntedness of Elvis and stuff. It was cool hauntedness though. I did my 200th show live on location at bar I formerly used to manage and run, the Hip Bar. It was called Parlor when I ran it. That was a super special occasion. We've done this show live on location from quite a few spots, actually. There's the hooligan. There's my two sons and Rich Meisner, who's been on the show. We did the show live from this bus numerous times. There's the studio on the bus. Man, I had such great memories on that bus. Holy shit. Loved doing the show from there for sure. There's me. We did it on the boat. That's San Juan del Sur. We were on Buddy's catamaran. That's Dan in the middle. That was it. Actually, that's both the owners' boats. But the guy on the right is very more hands-off, silent partner, and I can't even remember his name at this point because he was hardly ever around. But yeah, great times for sure. Also did it at a wonderful restaurant, which is no longer, well, I guess they got a pop-up restaurant now called Sun King. This was one of my favorite restaurants. And this is one of my favorite fun interviews to ever do. Jake Pickles, he was an absolute character. And man, oh man, we had a time on location at his restaurant. He fed me like a king. We got drunk on some really fancy wine and some other stuff as well. Another great memory for me was the time I got attacked by a police dog. We did that live on location thanks to Reggie and his other buddies there. That was definitely a memorable moment, to say the least. I'm just trying to look through the pictures here and make sure I didn't miss anything from along the way. Of course, there's the boys. I got to do a New Year's Eve show, 2021, with Lachlan Cross and James P. White. That was a pretty fun time for sure. I dropped the F-bomb on that show. Lachlan was pretty pissed at me that night. And of course, there's me and Paul. I've already showed that. But yeah, overall, man, so many amazing memories over the 4 years. That's pretty much all the notes that I think I've got over the 4 years. If anybody's got any other amazing memories, I guess I could play some more of this crazy. Let's see, I'll fast forward a bit where I was talking these puppets. I'll have a bit more watch of this, shall we?
You were so enamored by this chick's ass that you were playing in, even though she shouldn't have been playing with you, mate. I fully get that. But you went to hit this shot, and it was literally the best 5-wood, straight uphill, 250 yards, from the slight rough right onto the green, and it landed softly as my ass cheeks. Stewie, nobody asked about your ass cheeks, you filthy animal. Well, I'm just telling you, Bondzee, that was one of my favorite shots. And that girl, wow, her ass was something else, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, Stewie. Okay. Have I been drinking? Not at all. How dare you even ask? Anyways, best and worst golf trip of my entire life. This story is bittersweet. By the way, if you're just joining us, this is story time, golf time with my new crew. I found, recruited, stole, unburied them from my parents' basement while I'm trapped down here on day 6 of quarantine. So I set up a golf facility down here, which most of you know is my most favorite thing in the world to do.
You, Bondzee.
This feels so wrong, folks. I don't even know what I'm doing now. How does it feel to be the female champion of Club to Dungeon de Bondzee?
Well, Jesus, let me tell you, Bondzee, this is one very special, disturbing, weird course you have set up down here, but, just let me smash my head off the floor for a second, because, I have the worst haircut, and I just wanted to let people know it doesn't matter how beautiful you are, outside, inside, or anywhere. Even if you don't have a body, it still means I am still a golf champion, and I'm the female golf champion, and I have my own parking spot in Bondzee's parents' driveway. Well, I'm really, really, really proud of you there, blue eyes, weirdo, Sinead O'Connor looking thing. How tough was it winning the as my caddy about, God, what? We've traveled the world together, and we've had, oh my God, disastrous, Bondzee? Disastrous? Is that what you call it? You have played like an absolute fucking fool for so long, even though you could be so bloody good. Disastrous. Settle down, bud. We're live. Like, look. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm very sorry, people. Settle down, bud. Okay? We're just trying to have a normal conversation here. Just not bragging, but just saying how we play golf around the world, and you've always been with me, and I'm super thankful for that. And you've always calmed me down most times. Yeah, but most times, Bondzee, you play like a bloody idiot. And I try to tell you, but you just don't. Shut up. I know. I'm trying to get better. But when you fucking yell at me every day, Bondzee, do this. Do you think it makes me any better, Stewie? No, it doesn't. So I'm glad you've been on with me with this tour, but Bondzee, is that what they call you, Bonds? Or Bondzee? Hey, mate, I understand you're the number one golfer in the world, 4-time Masters champion, back to back. No one's ever done it. How does it feel being a no-eyed Captain Weird? Oh, no, wait, I got it. Wait for it. I'm Tigra Blanca Woods. Wake me up when COVID ends. Yeah, wake me up when COVID ends. That's it. That's all I've got. The madness is over. Peace and love. I love you all.
Let me put myself. That's how I signed off on the first ever Bondzee Live and Tripping with Bondzee on Facebook. That's where the madness all started. And 4 years later, here we are, episode 284. And listen, we've interviewed some amazing people, including, I am sorry, when I mentioned Wade, how dare I forget that he was a National Geographic, Playboy, Penthouse published, international award-winning photographer as well. So clicks for Wade. Big shout out. That guy's come a long way. Love him to pieces for sure. He's like my older bro. That's definitely that's 4 years, folks, in a nutshell. Come a long way since that first episode. Got to interview so many amazing guests, and I'm really thankful. Some of them I don't even, still to this day, don't even know how or why they agreed to come on this crazy show, stupid show, as Mom called it. I think she's come a long way too, and I have as well. We're doing this sober now. We're not swearing hardly nowhere near as much as we used to, and we're not talking to puppets anymore either. So I think we're talking to humans. So I think I've really come a long way and upgraded for sure. Somebody, I just saw a comment. You had, and of course I had Ryan on. How could I forget my buddy who just passed away recently? Rest in peace to Ryan. I love that guy. Of course I had Ryan on. Yeah. I'm personally curious about ayahuasca, Shelley said. Yeah, I mean, I cannot say enough good things about ayahuasca. And listen, everybody's doing it now. Aaron Rodgers, the football guy, he's down there doing it. He's done it many times now. He's got a bunch of football players in the offseason. They're all down in Costa Rica and Peru smashing ayahuasca ceremonies and stuff. So if you can find your way down there, I highly recommend everybody should go and do ayahuasca once for sure. It's a game changer, definitely. But we'll get into that. If this, I'm going to do the iboga, which is essentially like ayahuasca, sort of the same thing, sort of not. It has the same benefits of helping people with PTSD, alcoholism, any sort of addiction struggles as well. And that's part of the documentary that we're going to make with my, documenting my struggles with PTSD and from trauma to triumph, basically, and all my years of stuff. Becky, thank you so much for tuning in. Jamie, I saw you tune in too as well from Nicaragua. I really appreciate that. Oh, man, what else do we got here? I think that's pretty much it. It wouldn't be a full show if I didn't. We got to show a couple of videos. I think this is, if I had one favorite video, there's so many. And I mean, listen, folks, I didn't have a ton of time to put this together. I did my best, but I would have to say this is probably one of my favorite videos that I ever showed on the show, just because of the innocence of it. And no kid was injured in the making of this, which you can see at the end of this video. This is priceless. Watch this. Geronimo!
Okay, perfect.
That was awesome. We get
okay, perfect.
Whoever made that orange bucket thing there, that lit it on like a dance on the little kid.
Okay, perfect.
Oh, one more time. Geronimo!
Okay, perfect.
That company was definitely video.
Okay, perfect.
And that kid wins 100% for jumping up and saying that was awesome. He's probably going to have a concussion. He probably still has concussion syndrome. But that was one of the greatest videos I've ever seen, quite frankly. Let's see what else I got. Man, for all those people who say, oh, it's, because you know how I'm terrified of the ocean these days and stuff? For good reason. Even go, well, why don't you even go in knee deep or just up to your chest and stuff? Well, if you still like to swim in the ocean, you might not want to watch this next video, because watch this. Look how fast I again, not even to clean my feet off. Look at. What you think you can see it coming? So fast, watch it. And you're gone. If you're standing on 4 wheels, look at me, taking my picture. Boom, gone. See ya. Shark just ate you, dragging your ass out to sea. How about no thanks? I can't believe I forgot to tell you guys. I got a girl. This is probably going to be the last show because I'm moving away. I'm moving to the States. I'm really sorry. I can't believe I forgot to tell you, but this is it. I'll introduce you to my girlfriend, and then I'm getting on a plane tomorrow to go be with her. So I'll introduce you to her right now. Watch. Here she is.
I'm looking for a cute boyfriend I could buy a car for and a PS5 for. I just got my income tax, so hit me up. Looking for a boyfriend.
Listen, folks, I'm getting a car and a PS5 out of this. Okay, so toodaloo. Okay, one more time. You got to see my new girlfriend because she's really pretty. You're not the income tax. Hold on.
I'm looking for a cute boyfriend I could buy a car for and a PS5 for. I just got my income tax, so hit me up. Looking for a boyfriend.
I'll be right there, honey.
I'm looking for a cute boyfriend I could buy.
She looked for a cute boyfriend. Well, I'm pretty cute, I think. This is, I'm sitting here single as fuck, and not that I've really been looking, but man, it's pretty embarrassing when it can join. These two are now married. What kind of nonsense is going on here? Is he married to both of them? Or is he married one? You want to walk the line because he doesn't have a choice? What in the holy hell is going on? Talk about winning. Double blowjobs like a threesome, but then just one vagina. I don't know. I think that's pretty good, no? All right. I don't know what's going on here. I had to see this, so now you guys do, and it wouldn't be Bondzee Live Tripping with Bondzee without a weird video to show. So I don't know what's going on here, but check this out. Stop! Stop! Shaw, man, I don't even know. That's a little too much for me. It really is. I believe that's all I got, folks. That's it. That's all. Bondzee, we did 56 and a half minutes, almost bang on an hour. I really, really can't thank everybody enough for tuning in on this special show. Good Friday. That's 4 years of Bondzee all wrapped up into one. Wade says, I thought it was an April Fool's prank, but no, it's not, Wade. I'm out of here. I'm heading straight to Toronto. I'm on a plane. Listen, man, I'm getting a free car and a PS5. I mean, she got me on the PS5. I already got a car, but I don't got a PS5. I can't even. Okay. Mike Richards said, I seen you run faster in the ocean. Oh, yeah. Well, listen, I used to go in the ocean, but my buddy here, and just as the words came out of my mouth, and Mike can attest to this, he said, okay, Mike came down to visit with my old boss, Josh Hatton, and we were walking in the ocean and about just up to our shins. And I said, boys, make sure you shuffle your feet because there's stingrays out here and you could get stung. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, whammo, he got stung right on the foot, old Mike Richards did. Me and Josh looked at each other, and I don't even think our feet touched the top of the surface. And we were back on shore and left Mike standing there. And then he comes out, and his foot's just gushing blood. And so then I had to pee on it, and then everything was fine. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't pee on it. I think that's for like jellyfish stings or something, isn't it? But yeah, no, we didn't. I did not pee on his foot, but he did definitely get stung by one of the stingray. And I'm never going in the ocean again. I swear to God, I'm not. I'm just not. Yeah, I've had enough. I got to do so many amazing things in the ocean, and why risk it anymore? And I think aliens live under the sea now too. So another reason not to even bother going in there, because who knows, they could just come up and snap me and be gone. And then there's no more Bondzee Live and Tripping with Bondzee in 4 years. Boom, over just like that. Listen, I hope to hell I'm here in 4 more years doing this. I hope to have so many more great guests coming up. We have Royal Tusk next Wednesday, great band out of Edmonton. In the future, we've got JJ Wild. I was promised by her and her management, so she's coming. Pharaoh Minx, we're doing a really cool thing with Pharaoh Minx coming up in the near future, and so many other great bands coming up as well. And I'm really looking forward to whoever else ends up coming on the show in the next 4, 5, 6 years. And we'll see what I get up to as well. All right. Really appreciate everybody's support over the 4 years. It's been a wild ride from all over the world, being on Dean's network and everywhere in between. It's been a blast being in your homes and your homes too. And thanks to anybody who's ever let me do their show in their place of dwelling. Huge shout out tonight to my boy Phil over there, who's been videotaping this actually and watching in the background. Huge clicks to him. He's been a great friend right from grade 9 and love him to pieces. Wicked dude, and I'm happy to spend Easter weekend with him for sure. Well, I got the movie coming up, but we had a blast last night. We're gonna have a blast tonight still. And I guess maybe I could say it now because I'm wrapping this show up. First time I've ever done the show on mushrooms. Alcohol free, but I'm about a gram and a bit deep on mushrooms. I thought I handled it swimmingly well, actually. So there you go. I've always wanted to try it, and I thought, well, no better time to try it than on your 4-year anniversary. So yes, if you notice something a little different, I don't know if I've been different at all. I feel like I was completely the same, to be honest, but I just did this show high as balls on mushrooms. So there you go. Peace and love. Enjoy your Easter weekend. I can't wait to film this movie coming up and show you. If I'm allowed to show you some behind the scenes footage, I will. And if not, I will see you on Wednesday. Please, please, please be safe. Hug your family real tight this weekend, even though I know it's Easter and that, but you never know. Here today, gone tomorrow. Today, actually, I found out some horrible news. A great friend from Nicaragua. Terrible way to end the show, but Bronwyn, my dear friend Bronwyn passed away today. Out of the blue. She was went to the hospital not feeling well 10 days ago, ended up in the ICU, and 10 days later, she's dead. Okay, so rest in peace to her. My heart and condolences go out to Keith and her husband and her family. Super sad. And I want to give a huge shout out to a dear, dear, dear friend of mine. I will not say his name because I don't know if he's made this public or not, but he made it public to me. Somebody very, very, very close to me and who I dearly, dearly love called me today and is going away for a while to get treatment for mental treatment. So I wish you all the best. Friend, Godspeed. Your family needs you. We all need you, and we all love you. And so go get better, please, please, please. And I'm glad you're seeking the help. And friends, anybody out there, if you need to go and don't feel ashamed, man, go do it. Or I'm always here to talk to, and I'm glad that I'm able to have those outlets as well. And I'm always here. All right. So have a great Easter. Hug your friends and family. Even extra special, and I'll see you on Wednesday. All right. Have a great rest of the weekend. Happy Easter again, and toodaloo. Love you. Bye.
What was that?
That was very strange.
It was very weird.
It was peculiar.
It was kind of amusing.
Yes, it was rather funny.
It was incredibly funny.
I loved it.
Hilarious.
Next to go, I check the line. Who's next to go?